firmament. He separated the earth from the heavens. He separated the seas from the land. And when he created man, he ensured that that man was very distinct from all creation. It says, let us make man in our own image and after our own likeness. And this man shall be different from all other creation, because this man shall have dominion over the fowls of the air, over the fish of the sea, over every creeping thing that creeps on the face of the earth. And so God made man out of his own image and likeness. You should be projecting those scriptures, our media team. So God made man out of his own image and likeness. And so God said, fill the earth, multiply, subdue, replenish, and have dominion. So that is a 5-point mandate of man, that he shall be fruitful, he shall fill the earth, he shall subdue, he shall replenish, and he shall have dominion. He shall have dominion. So that is Genesis 1:26 and 7. So God had created man that he should be his representative on the face of the earth, his likeness, his image, that he should take dominion over the face of the earth, because what he was to do in heaven, man was to do on the face of the earth. So when we are talking about consecration or holiness, it's just being set apart, it's a distinction. We said it is not just a matter of the do's and the don'ts. It's not just obedience or adherence to certain rules and regulations. It's about a people that are set apart. And we see that throughout the scriptures. We talked about Abraham in Genesis chapter 12, verse 1-3, that he was called out of his kindred, out of his nation, out of his tribe, out of his father's house. And he said, come, I'm going to take you to a place that I will show you. Eventually, Abraham becomes a great nation, gives birth to Isaac, and Isaac begets Jacob, and from Jacob, who is renamed Israel, the 12 tribes emerge, and he's made into a nation. And we saw that Joseph is a distinct man. In Genesis 39, verse 9, he says, how can I do this thing unto my God? How can I do this thing? He is set apart. He's not under the systems of Egypt. Though he's a slave in Potiphar's house, but he does not live according to the rules of the God of that age, which is about sacrificing your integrity for some favors or promotion. He says, I'd rather not get that promotion, but tarry, retain my identity in God. And eventually God elevates him. Pharaoh proclaims, Genesis 41:38. He says, can we find such a man as this, a man in whom the Spirit of the Lord is? How can we find such a man as this? This man is different. This man is unique. And he says, as much as the Lord has given you wisdom over this thing, take over it. As much as, because it is you that the Lord gave. It is you that the Lord gave the wisdom, the discerning spirit to know what we ought to do. You are the right man for the job. So Joseph was totally distinct, very different kind of a person, living in those days, but, very unique in his disposition of life, in the way he handled things, in the way he was able to stand for the Lord, because you can see that he's able to see a higher nation, a higher kingdom. Does not see himself as a slave. He sees himself as a minister, as a child of God, and so he's able to live. While all these things are happening, this is not a person that is making these decisions because people are seeing him or because people are around him. No, he has a system within himself. He cannot lie low. He cannot betray his identity and his nature. So he's a different man. And Pharaoh is able to notice this. So these people are eventually taken to the captivity in Exodus, in the land of Egypt. And there rises a king who does not know how great Joseph is, because Joseph delivered the nations of Egypt. But there rises a king that oppresses them because he doesn't know. Yet God still speaks. Exodus 8:22, we read that last Sunday, that is going to create a distinction between the people of Egypt and his own people. That in the land of Goshen, where they dwell, these plagues or these calamities shall not befall them, because God wants to create a distinction between his people and the rest of the people. The purpose and the principle of God has never changed. Even in our time, God still wants to create a distinction between you, the chosen of God, and the people of the world. God still wants to create a difference. That difference must be seen. So he continues throughout the scriptures. You're going to see that in Exodus chapter 12, when he's about just to get them out, he says, I shall create a distinction. There shall be a difference. All these scriptures I gave to you last Sunday, so you should be able to have them. You should be able to see that God said, will create a distinction, a demarcation between my people and the rest of the world. And remember, this is a principle, and it happens with all people that God has chosen. Everybody. Look at Daniel. Daniel chapter 1 verse 8. He said, I will not defile myself from the meat that comes from the king's table, because I'm different. I am unique. I shall not just eat anything. Shall not just eat everywhere. Nothing that is sacrificed to the idols shall pass through me, because there is a sanctity that I have. There is a separation. There is a consecration that I have. And I will not allow myself to be defiled. And Daniel 1:17, we see that distinction, that out of all the people, the eunuchs that were chosen, because these were eunuchs, separated for the service of the king. Now God created a distinction that these four men, God gives them knowledge and skill in all literature and wisdom. And Daniel had an understanding in the visions and dreams. Verse number 18. So now at the end of the days, when the king had said that they should be brought in, the chief of the eunuchs brought them before Nebuchadnezzar. Right? Verse 19, then the king interviewed them, and among them all, none was found like Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah. Therefore they served before the king. Verse number 20. And in all matters of wisdom and understanding, about which the king examined them, he found them 10 times better than all the magicians and astrologers who were in all his realm. They were different, unique. That means in all the matters that the king inquired of them, they were found to be in a class of their own. Remember, this is not knowledge or wisdom or skill that is found by everybody. These were put, of course, in the best universities of those times,